Hi, my Florida Garden Escape channel. Welcome back. So I hope you guys got a chance to watch our new seedling video. So I just wanted to go ahead and give you guys a tour of the garden, just the whole garden, everything that's been going on, things like that. So let's go ahead and take a look. So here is some more marigolds. I did have them in this pot. This pot did have a whole lot more soil in it, but I had to use some of it for the seedlings inside, as you've seen in the previous video. But this is a lot of the marigolds that we have going. This is going to be the French dwarf marigolds. And I'll show you here in a second what those are. Here is our rose bushes and then our fern. I need to get this thing planted. I've been saying for weeks that I need to get it planted. I'm not sure where because these things do grow rapidly and crazy. So I'm not sure exactly where we're going to plant that. Then over here we do have our other marigolds. Now as you do see here, the marigolds I have cut down due to the hurricane, the tropical storm Nicole that we got. It knocked a lot of them down, so we had to cut a lot of it out. As you see, we still have some more to cut because the limbs are flopped over. And some of the limbs, as you can see here, did split open, unfortunately. So we're going to have to get those cut off as well. We have a lot of weeding we do have to get done. We were able to pull a lump from over here. That is what all that is right there. I don't know how all that got there, but we bought the house, so it kind of came with it. But everything's doing really good. The roses are pushing out more blooms, as you can see here, and they are getting some pollinators on them, as you can see in there. So they're getting pollinated. This is one of the basils. This one I decided to keep inside. I think we're going to be moving this one out to the garden though. It's not liking being inside too well, so we're probably going to get this one moved outside. Now, as you can see here, I was really excited. And this one too, the marigold, this one, we had to cut back a lot because it did fall over. And as you can see here, this is the Gerber daisy. Look how beautiful they are. I've been waiting for so long for them to toss out a bloom, and they finally have done it. Look at those Gerber daisies. Aren't they just beautiful, guys? They're amazing. So now we're going to come over here to the Canaan lily. As you can see, it's definitely not as bushy as it was before. We did cut a lot of it out so it had more room to breathe for the winter. We'll end up having to cut some more of these dead leaves and that out. As you can see, we've done here at the bottom, kind of left the dead leaves down there to help give it some mulch. Now over here we have our sunflowers. The sunflowers we had planted as seedlings in our grow tent. They're doing pretty well. From our research in that, it said you could plant these outside in full sun at the end of November, and that's kind of what we did. So far it's given off one bloom so far, but we're hoping it'll do a lot better now that it's outside in full sun, and hopefully we get some more sun throughout the month. Over here is going to be some more of our marigolds. As you can see, this is the French dwarf marigold. As you can see, a lot of it did fall off, and that's what the flowers look like. But as you can see here, the limbs right here are splitting, so we'll have to cut that out to get rid of that because that's not gonna reproduce anything and it's just gonna be bad. The others over here, they're doing pretty well. Hopefully we'll get some better pushed out once we start to warm up. But this is the marigolds. That's what those will look like. We have so much here to do and show and things like that. It's a bit unreal, to be frankly honest with you. We still have a lot more to plant. There is actually the back garden. You're not gonna believe it's gonna be pretty mind-blowing on how it looks. Just because we got a cold front, really big cold front recently, and it a lot of things didn't make it through that cold front. It got really cold down to like the low 30s. So a lot of our squash, tomato plants and things like that didn't make it. Now we have already harvested a lot out of our garden. We've harvested lettuce, we've harvested our carrots, we've harvested celery. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip this camera around and show you guys what everything looks like. It's gonna look really different back here just for the mere fact that we've cleaned up a lot back here. We've also burned a lot of the wood pile that was out here. We still have a lot more to go, so we're not nowhere near complete. So let's go ahead and check it out. So here we have our our blueberries. And then I did plant a marigold out here to help pollinate everything. As you probably hear our alarm system out here going off, it's to help scare away the animals that come through the garden. We end up seeing deer, things like that. As you can see here, we have some stems from the lettuces we had to chop down. As they were, let me focus this. As you see here, the lettuce was starting to go in seed, so we had to chop it down as the leaves become not edible anymore. Here's going to be a prime example. This is going to be a baby romaine. As you see, a lot of the leaves here, they look rubbery, things like that. We actually have to cut this down because we can't harvest from it anymore. Like, the leaves in that are no longer edible, so we'll have to get rid of that. Here's the basil. The basil's doing pretty good here and there. We got to get rid of some of this dead stuff off of it so that way it doesn't push any more nutrients to it. And what I do out here is I'll come out here and pluck the very top of these leaves, so that way it helps produce, helps push it out to grow more. It's really been helping the garden a lot. I've been really impressed with it. Here's some more of the lettuces, and look, here we have some more of the baby romaine. We'll have to cut this one down as it is starting to go to seed as well right there. This one, it actually was mulched down by the rabbits, as you can see there, but it did push out these two other stalks, so we'll be able to collect the leaves from those, which is awesome. And then here's the celery. So this celery was actually one of the celeries we cut and cropped it and harvested from. And as you can see, it's already pushed more celery out. And what I'm going to do with this celery this time around is I'm actually going to take cardboard and wrap it, or get something to cluster them up more together, so that way they're more stocky. And then, oh, looky here, guys. So here's some more of the lettuce that we harvested from. As you can see, we cut one down, and as you can see here, it's already starting to grow more. So that'll be great to harvest from. This long guy we actually have to cut down as well, and I'll show you exactly why. So as you can see, it's pushing into seeds. So these leaves will actually no longer be edible anymore. So I'll have to cut this whole thing down, and then hopefully, from my understanding, it will shoot out more. The stalk will just have to regrow. Now, as you can see over here, you're probably like, Selena, you need to get the weeds. Yes, we do need to get the weeds, along with also putting more mulch down. So that way the weeds have a harder time pushing through all the mulch, because that's one of our main issues currently. As you can see here, this is going to be one of the celery we harvested. And as you can see here, it's already pushing more back out, which is amazing. That means we'll have more to harvest before too long. This one here is looking great. As you can see, the limbs are getting long. The stalks are getting pretty stocky. What I'm going to do with this one is actually come through and kind of cluster it all together, so that way it's not spreading out and it can shoot more up. And me just touching these leaves, they have like a cinnamon smell to it almost, which is really amazing. As you can see here, there is actually no more squash. Squash died off during the winter. As you can see here, this is the stalk that remains from the squash. It's totally dead. We will have to actually replant squash and regrow it from the beginning, just like we did. I think I grew it too soon, too late. or not too soon, but just too late. So it didn't really make the winter. Now over here we have a lot of the tomatoes. No, there's not a lot of green leaves on them due to the winter. We have to get out here to get rid of a lot of the weeds. We are getting some tomatoes still shooting out, which is good. Hopefully we'll be able to harvest those here soon. As you can see, some of them, if I can get this camera to focus here, guys. There it goes. So as you can see, some of them are getting little holes in them. So I'm not sure if I need to spray them to protect them from the animals getting them or what. So I got to do some more research on that as well. As you can see it there as well. My camera is not wanting to focus. But no, nothing really made it through the winter. The main ones that did make it are these two big guys. They still have tomatoes on them and they're still pushing out tomatoes. So hopefully we'll be able to get something out of these guys. But only time will tell, really. As you can see, some of the smaller stalks are starting to be brown, so they're not making it. So I'm a little concerned if they'll grow back, but only time will tell at this point, and we'll see how it really goes. That's going to be the main thing out here in the back garden that's been really going on. As you can see here, we cleared out all this. It looks a lot more open. As you can see here, we pulled out a lot of junk from the woods. We're just getting a lot of it cleaned up. So hopefully we'll have it cleaned up before no time. This right here is going to be our blackberries. As you can see, they don't have any leaves on them currently, as everything has died off for the winter. But just because it doesn't have leaves on it doesn't mean it's dead. It still will push out a lot more blooms when it comes to the warmer season. We're just currently dried out right now from the cold and that. Here is our black muscadinian. She also has lost a lot of her leaves. This is what they'll look like once they produce grapes and that. So we'll look forward to that once we get into a warmer season. Funny story. So one evening we decided to have a little get together and have a fire. Well, little did we know we didn't know how our wiring and that was laid out, or any of our piping, as no surveys will show you that in their surveys and things like that. So you kind of have to figure it out for yourself. Well, little did we know, right where our pool used to be, as it ended up, the pipes and that for it that hold it up broke as they rusted out. So we have to get a new pool. Well, little did we know, underneath this fire area, our internet, no, not our internet cable, our water pump cable went. So we ended up melting it and catching it on fire somehow, not realizing that it was there. So we had to actually dig a trench. So that is our trench that we're creating for it, and we still have much more to go. For some reason, they went out there to the well with the well pump wire, came all the way down here to the old well house, and then cut over, instead of going from the house all the way out to the well house like we're doing now. So we actually had to dig that out. And look, this property must be filled with trash in the dirt or something, because that's all from what we dug up. Like, this is just from digging up the holes in that. So we have a lot of work on our hands, so we're getting through it, you know, it's little by little. So what we're getting ready to check out now, let's get back on track. What we're getting ready to check out now is our trees. Like I said, guys, just because something doesn't have leaves on it doesn't mean it's dead. It's gonna come back eventually. It just has to warm up in that first. So let's take a look at these. Here is our Florida King Peach tree. As you see here, it has no leaves on it. It's that type of season,
It's not warm enough. Yes, it's getting a lot of sunlight, but we're not in the warmer temperatures right now, so it doesn't have any leaves on it. We got to come through here and weed it out as well. We have our weeding weekend next weekend, where we'll come through next weekend and kind of weed everything out to get all those weeds out there, so that way the plants aren't fighting with those weeds anymore. Here we have the Satsuma mandarin tree. Still has all our leaves on it. Hasn't grown any though. What do you guys think? I'd say it hasn't. Like, it still looks the same. Hasn't gotten any taller. Hasn't gotten any bushier. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, if it looks any different to you guys. Because it definitely doesn't look any different to me or my man. Like, it really don't. But it looks good. I mean, it's still very well healthy, which is what we like, so we really can't complain. We are getting ready to come up on Christmas season, so we're getting all of our Christmas decorations and that up. Currently, for the plan right now, as you see here, we have a pine tree. We were going to cut it down when it was a little smaller, but we're actually keeping it for a little longer, letting it get a little taller. Just so that way we can actually collect the pine straw, the dead pine straw that falls off of it for the plants and that. So we're keeping it for the time being until it gets a little too big, and then we'll eventually cut it down. But for right now, it's helping us. We collect the pine straw off of it. As you see, we use it in our garden and things like that. So it's really gonna help for the time being until it gets too big and we'll need to cut it down, because we don't want it to fall on the house or the vehicles or anything else like that. So, but yeah, that is the garden, guys. You've pretty much seen everything. I hope you guys liked the new seedling video. I know there isn't a lot of information being put on these, but if I can do it, you guys can do it. And one major tip, if I'm to leave any kind of information on these videos, one thing for sure I would definitely say is make sure you plan out where you want your garden. Like, evaluate it for at least a year. See where the sun goes, sets, things like that, so you know where to plant things. Because some things are going to want full sun, some things are going to want partial sun, especially during different types of the seasons. If you're in an area where it gets super cold, you'll probably want more sun on your plants, so that way they're staying warmer. Really know your zones. That's one thing for sure. You really want to have a time lapse of when you're wanting to plant your seedlings, like when you should start them, when they should be going out, things like that, and really have a general idea of when you need to put it out. So like a lot of our cold stuff like celery, things like that, we could have started in the month of September and have everything ready by October and keep producing it out through the months of winter. Now, for the months of spring and summer and things like that, I already have a whole game plan of what we plan on putting in seedlings, like when we plan on starting the seedlings, when we plan on start pushing them out. We're gonna get a lot, and I really want to make sure for this year we have a lot to harvest from tomatoes, watermelon, cantaloupe. I think once we get more of a better general idea of everything we're going to be planting, so that way we have more of an idea of everything we're going to harvest, because I don't want to plant too much and then we have too much of a harvest and we have to end up throwing it out or something like that, because we don't want to waste anything. So you really want to make sure you don't plant too much, but you don't want to plant too little. So it's definitely an in-between thing. And if anybody ever tells you gardening isn't a science, it definitely is a science. I would definitely say that. So let's go ahead and wrap this up, guys. I don't want to keep you guys here too long. I know it's already been long enough. So before I do let you guys go, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below. Don't forget to hit that notification bell down below. And please like and comment on our videos. We love to hear from you guys. I know we've been busy and things like that and really haven't been posting like we normally do. But not to worry. We're going to get back in the swing of things, get back in routine. It's been a little crazy here lately, but not to worry. Everything should start settling down, and we should be able to get more videos back out. Just currently, there's just not a whole lot going on right now other than our cold crops right now. But until next time, you should see a video from us again next week. So, until next time, guys, deuces! Garden Channel out.